Hello! I've been playing around with the PTS, specifically the expeditions, and I ran into something interesting. I normally use a bloodied plasma gauss rifle for these expeditions, and I ran into something really interesting. Okay, so if we look at the grenades, look at the damage. Look at the damage numbers. 900 for a frag, 303, 152 damage over time, and nukers go to 1500. As well as plasmas going to 1200 each, so that's 2400 damage total. At first I thought it was a general damage buff to grenades, which is actually much needed because who uses grenades, right? But then I noticed that the numbers change depending on the weapon that you use. So let's look up my holy fire. So no damage boosting perks or anything like that. And the other numbers are back to normal, right? So that's 408, it used to be like 900. Both the raw damage and the damage over time have dropped back to normal levels. Although they're both a bit stronger than what you get in the main game as it is right now, right? And nukers and the plasmas have gone back to pretty much normal levels. Basically half of what we had before. Although nukers I think were like 1500. So that could just be a visual bug, right? So I decided to do a few tests and it turns out that there actually is a big difference in terms of damage. So I've equipped a mine and we'll be able to see the damage. I've also pretty much taken off all my armor aside from one piece just to make sure Chameleon doesn't kick in. I've also taken off my damage avoiding perks, so no serendipity or ricochet. Okay, now let me chuck down a mine and fire on it with the holy fire. Okay, so that nearly killed us, right? Okay, let's throw down a second mine and equip the gauss rifle and shoot the mine again. Yep, definitely more damage. Definitely more damage with the bloody weapon. But then I noticed another difference. I equipped my bloody cryolator and the numbers are different again. So now we get 1230 and 984 with a bloody weapon. So if we go back to the bloody prime gauss, that jumps back up to 1500 and 1200. So it looks like the explosive damage from your weapons is also applied to the grenades. And on top of that, it looks like your prime receivers also boost your damage. So if I equip this bloody prime Gatling plasma, that's 1230 and 984. So there's a definite difference there. So it looks like if you want to get the highest possible grenade damage value in the PTS, you want to get a bloodied prime explosive weapon. And on top of that, it looks like the damage over time is also affected by these factors. So if we go back to the Gatling plasma, you can see that the damage over time drops from 150 to 131 across 5 seconds. And yes, the perks that you use also affect the damage, so if I were to remove the rifleman perks, that would actually reduce the damage over here. So we're now out of the PTS and back into the main game. The main game was patched a couple of days back to reflect some of the changes in the PTS. And I looked around and... oops, wrong button. Okay, so let's equip our bloody prime gauss rifle now. So if you remember in the PTS, the bloodied, the primed, and the explosive effect all affected the damage of the grenades. So if we look at, for example, the Molotov cocktail, the damage has increased, but the damage over time is still the same. Same with here, the damage has increased, and here. The damage over time is again the same. Let's go to the holy fire as a baseline. So yes, you can see that the damage decreases, but again the damage over time is the same. Same with here, so nuclear grenades are back to the normal 700 something damage. Plasmas are up to 500 something. So that was with the holy fire. Now let's compare to the bloodied prime Gatling plasma. That's effectively giving us the same damage as the bloody prime gauss rifle. So the explosive damage does not boost your grenades. Now if we go and equip the bloody cryolator, and as you can see with the bloody cryolator, the damage is the same. So prime capacitors do not make any difference to your damage. So it looks like some of the changes in PTS came across as part of the patch. Grenades do get boosted by the first legendary effect of your weapon, no boost from prime or legendary explosive effects. So up to now it's been the case that when you do a West Tech run, you equip an instigating weapon and then chuck nuclear grenades. The instigating effect will double the damage of nuclear grenades, but now it looks like all the damage boosting legendary effects apply to grenades too. So let's do a quick test to see how bloody grenades compare to instigating grenades. First I'll do a test with an instigating weapon. So that was about 1100 damage for each. Okay, so next up is the same test, but with a bloody weapon. So that was slightly lower than Instigating, but it was pretty similar. And the benefit of using Bloody is that you get a uniform increase in damage, whereas Instigating simply doubles the damage against enemies at full health. So it looks like Instigating is still better for West Tech runs, but Bloody is better all around.